Senator.
Thank you. It's good to be back with you guys.
It's great to see you.
For all that you do. Thank you.
Well, we got a lot to ask you.
Yes.
So let's get started.
Okay, let's get right in
We'll get to
there.
Biden in a moment, but first let's start with the breaking news.
Yeah.
Alex Acosta.
Yeah.
Now, you were a prosecutor. You prosecuted sex crimes back in the day.
Yeah.
Alex Acosta, who gave the sweetheart deal to Jeffrey Epstein, says this is the best deal he can cut. Tell us from your prosecutor hat on, is there anywhere in your mind that this could have been the best deal he could have cut?
Absolutely not. And I will tell you, Anna, that I personally prosecuted child sexual assault cases.
Yes.
And they are some of the most difficult cases to prosecute. There's no question. In fact, in many ways, they're even more difficult to prosecute than homicide cases.
Why?
Because you're asking a jury to believe a young person over an adult on an incident that obviously, because that adult is a predator, so they choose their prey carefully, and they choose the location of their predatory behavior carefully, which means there are going to be no witnesses. So by the very nature of these cases, they are going to be difficult because the predator selects his prey in a way that it will be about vulnerable children. It will be about children who are afraid to tell someone. It will be about children who may not otherwise have a strong support system behind them so that they run home and tell somebody, right?
It's usually a long period of time has usually elapsed.
That's exactly right.
Well.
And that's part of the nature of these cases. It's the nature of these cases. And so any prosecutor worth their salt, especially one who understands the nature of these cases, which any prosecutor should if they're taking the case on, knows that this is the exact kind of case that is typical of somebody who's preyed on children. And that case should go before a jury, and that person should go to prison for a long period of time.
Well, hopefully Epstein will now.
But I mean, hopefully he will, but you know, the thing that I found, obviously, you can tell by the tone of my perspective, the thing that I found so troubling, disheartening, and really unbelievable was the way that Acosta has described the challenge he had, because it's like saying it's really difficult to make an omelet. Well, then get out the kitchen if you don't know how to cook. Right? If you don't know how to do your job, you shouldn't be in the position. Don't take the fame and glory that comes with the position if you don't know how to do the work and the job. And we're talking about children.
Every day,
you know, and here's the thing, when I would also prosecute these cases, one of the things I would say is that, look, any of us who has raised a daughter or a girl, we know that and I'm just going to be explicit, when they hit puberty, they start to develop hips and breasts, right? And don't you dare say that because she starts to take on those physical attributes, she's any less of a child.
Right.
Because what any of us who has raised a daughter knows, that when you sit down with that child and you are speaking with her or cuddling with her while you're watching television or just raising her, she is a child.
They're babies.
They are babies. And because you find her in your sick mind sexually attractive, does not and should not allow you to get off for your behavior and get away with that behavior. And so that's also part of the challenge with these cases, and that case in particular, based on what I've read. These are children.
And try having to put those babies on the witness stand.
And that's exactly right. And it is difficult, but it is done every day in courtrooms in America. Every day in courtrooms in America, prosecutors are prosecuting these cases and getting convictions. I got them. I personally got them. So that's what I find so troubling about the narrative. And then don't tell me, well, it's a function of this is the era where people now believe that.
No, that was ridiculous.
It was a lame excuse for the fact that he let this guy go with nothing but a simple, very light pat on the head.
And didn't tell anybody. Didn't tell the victims what he had
which
done.
is re-victimizing them. You know, in so many states, we've actually passed legislation that, and for that very reason, require that the victims be told.
Yes,
because otherwise the system is doing just what the predator did, which is depriving them of their power and agency.
And it was required federally anyway.
Well, I think we're all in agreement of how abhorrent all of it is, and it's very difficult to talk about, but I'm glad we are.